Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. My name is Wesley Steiner. I'm currently an NFL free agent here with my boy Chief Borders. Also, a soon-to-be NFL free agent going
Nah,
into the
get
draft.
ready
So
for get ready for the draft. Get ready for the draft.
he's
Get
getting
ready
ready
for
for
the
the
draft.
draft. He's getting ready for the draft. But man, we go back and we just gonna give y'all some game today, just so y'all know what's going on in the world y'all trying to go into, and we know when eventually when you get to be in our positions, how to capitalize on what you're doing. So no matter what's happening, you got the game that people don't tell you about, or you just got to get there when you get there. Um, so my name is Wesley Steiner. Played at Auburn, linebacker. Transferred to Washington State for a semester. Did my pro day at Auburn University, crashed out, went crazy, signed with the Raiders shortly after, then signed with the Seattle Seahawks, got hurt, and have been training since. And this is my man, Chief Borders. Chief, go ahead and say what's up. Talk about
Man,
you.
Chief Borders, man, was a four to five star athlete coming out of high school. Me and Wes, we gonna get into our relationship and how we met each other, camp wise for sure. Coming out of high school, played at University of Florida, transferred to Nebraska. Then I played at Pitt, and the same coach that got fired, Dan Mullen, my freshman year, is now my head coach at UNLV. And as I am getting ready for the NFL draft, been talking to a couple teams as well, and just enjoying the process, man. So just happy to be here, Wes. You know what I'm saying? Making it do what it do. Talking to the collegiate athlete today, man. So let's get to it.
I'm with you. So, what y'all didn't see on camera is that me and Chief had a competition right before we started on how we gonna open this up, and he won the competition. So I'm gonna open this up, but um, the question is, when did we realize that everything that we were trying to do was not moving us forward in the direction we wanted to? And specifically, we know this relates to the college guys because you get to college and you have this idea of what you want happening, but no one really prepares you unless you just have those people in your corner. And it's hard to explain if you have it or you don't have it, because it's one or the other. You either know it or you don't know it. And when I realized when I was missing something was right before I transferred out of Auburn. Um, I loved Auburn so much that I was so close to the program and I loved everything about it that I couldn't really see what was happening around me within the program
Right.
to allow myself to like make a more objective decision for my best interest rather than what's Auburn's best interest. So when I realized that sometimes being so close to something is actually more detrimental than good, that can really hurt you down the line. And, it's important to know where your loyalty is placed, but also knowing where to draw the line for what's in the best interest for you.
Yeah.
Because if your best interest is met for the team, yeah, then the team's getting the best version of you. But if the team's not getting the best version of you, you're not giving them the best you can. So at that moment, if I had realized sooner that, yeah, you got to make sure to be objective, to give yourself the best, to give the people around you the best, um, I definitely would have made decisions a lot sooner and would have definitely capitalized a lot more on what I was doing.
Mm.
So, Chief, what you got for your opening on this one?
Man, when it came down to it, I would definitely say just being more mature. The maturity standpoint is everything. Coming from high school, that maturity standpoint is everything that you need to level up your mindset, because not having that type of person to kind of give you the rundown of what will go on, in the locker room, in the coaching staff, being a part of a collegiate system, being a collegiate athlete, just how things could just shift and change in so many different directions. You just got to be able to be grounded and just have a great standpoint and mindset to like move forward and make your best interest be heard, and have the mindset to just like really love yourself, love the program, but love yourself and do what's
Mm,
best for you at the end of the day.
mm,
So yeah, that maturity standpoint, man. You grow. You feel me? You grow. So
yeah. And like part of that growth is just like knowing where to apply that new maturity you just acquired.
thanks.
Because again, like when as we mature, it's like that's when we realize I could have applied what I now know to somewhere else. I
Mm.
could have done something differently to prepare. I could have done something differently to train. Whatever that circumstance may be, it's like you're exactly right. Once that maturity comes, it's like it really opens up another layer of potential. Of more than anything, is just knowing that you have more potential to work with. Um, but speaking about potential, pro day. Hey, every scout's going to pro day because they want to see what potential's out there. And I'll let you go ahead and start this one. So, when I say, what was your most
Yeah.
painful moment or pro day experience you've had so far, or something you wish somebody had told you before you pulled up and performed?
Uh, let's see. When it came down to pro day, like the training aspect of it was just different. Just I ended up going to two different locations. I trained with Exo Sports, and training with them was just one of the ones where you have to realize, like, all right, bet it's like an everyday grind and mentality to move forward, and be the best version of yourself and PR every day.
Mm,
And then coming to that mindset and that standpoint, actually getting to pro day, your last name is what determines what rate you're going to be in. So I was the first guy to go at everything. So everything was moving so fast paced, rapid pace, and I was the first one to go in everything. So that was one of the main things that I had like a challenge with. But mm, running a straight line, I think that's one thing that I kind of on that 40, bro. running running a straight line on that 40, man. You gonna knock off a couple hundredths of a second, a couple tenths of a second, bro. If you just do so. But I was able to rerun that 40 and get a better time. So yeah, that's probably one of the ones. What about you, fam? What was the one?
man, most painful moment at my pro day.
Mm.
I was actually so fast that my body was like, "Hey, you going too fast? Hit the speed limit." And I actually ended up getting hurt at my pro day. Like
Oh,
right as we were going into drills, I'm like, "Dad, gum, right? Ain't no way. I just showed out. Now I can't. I gotta slow down again, right?"
yeah.
So for me, like that was my most painful moment was like having to get slowed down, right?
Mm,
As I'm having a good day. Because it's like I already knew I was gonna go test out the wazoo, and that's not a Washington State joke. It's just I knew I was gonna go crazy. Yeah, I didn't. Something I learned later, as I was training more, was a lot of high intensities. Like guys like Usain Bolt, who are just super fast sprinters, like they don't have to sprint as much because they sprint at such a higher speed that it's more strain on their body.
right.
And it's like, I went out there, wrapped it out on the bench. I think either you got one more on me. I think you had 24, right?
Yeah, I had 23 actually. Yeah.
23. So we got the same bench. You got longer arms, so that's is always more impressive for guys with super long arms.
Right.
When I jumped, vertical jump was a 39. It was either 39 or 38, one of those two.
Yeah. 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 He was
Um,
help.
broad jumped 11.3 and then ran 4.3, ran 4.4. Right. So it's like, yeah, I was wired up to go knock it out, but all
Thanks.
that
Yeah.
together, you know, on top of a nice big old frame, um, hey, sometimes it slows you down.
I mean, look,
Um,
bro, you putting your body at the maximum effort of everything that you're doing. Run high, jump fast, right? That's something
yes.
that a lot of people don't necessarily be aware of. Like you're putting your body in like fight or flight situation. So flight has to go because you know what I'm saying. Or
Hmm.
flight has to go, or it's either gonna fight. You're gonna fight and do what you gotta do. And obviously, we put up a fight because I ain't gonna count running. Just recently ran a 4.48 literally as of yesterday, so I had to just recoup and retrain myself to just
Hmm.
move. But then also just having a disciplined mindset to be like, all right, bet like pivot. You know what I'm saying? Something's going on,
Hmm.
something happening. Scouts talking to you. Just be able to pivot and switch it. Switch the gears on and off.
You're exactly right because it's like if you can't pivot and switch gear on and off, it's like, yeah, when something bad comes your way, what you gonna do?
Facts.
You
You
can't
know
just
what I'm
sit
saying?
there and
Yeah,
you
change
can't
the
just give
switch.
up and just sit there and what you're doing. You got to pivot and like make the most out of what you got.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you right on the money because like, yeah, what do you do when you get hurt? Scouts are looking at you. Hey, what did you hurt? What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
They
dang,
coming to you. They coming to
I
you with
just
that pen
got
and
up.
paper,
Can
and
you
they
give me a
like,
moment?
and then they just walk off. Yeah, I mean,
And just
look,
walk
bro.
off. Yeah, you're exactly right. Walk off.
Shrewd game, shrewd business game, bro. Shrewd game.
And look, like they're not taking no prisoners. It's just it is what it is because
It is
it's the
what it is.
business. Hey, listen, like y'all hear guys say like NFL is a business all the time, and they are exactly right. But it's I want you this is what I want y'all to see right now. NFL is like a game of cards. You get dealt out rounds of cards every year. Everyone gets new cards to play with. And what you do is like playing Go Fish. Honestly, it's like I'm putting the card down, picking the card up. And you really playing with what you need to win in the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like it is no, it's not
I like to
personal if
see
they
it in
don't work with you. It's
spades. You
just
know what I'm saying?
business.
I like to see it in spades. You know what I'm saying? You gotta meet your book. You gotta meet
Mm.
your book to keep your spot, baby. You know what I'm saying? There you
You
go.
know, I know what you're saying, baby. It's so
Man.
for all y'all thinking like it's just because you do well, hey, you can do well, but it's still business. Don't let's not
Right.
get it twisted. Um,
Question two. Let me get that one. Let me get that one. When you
question two.
when you
Go
transfer,
ahead.
what was the hardest truth you had to face, and what would you tell a player who is scared he is already in the wrong place?
The hardest truth I had to face was like letting go that as much as I loved Auburn, Auburn as the organization didn't want me back. They didn't want me. And that was like the hardest truth I had to face in that as much as I'd given to Auburn because I loved it so much,
Mm,
Auburn was not in the same position to do the same for me.
right.
Not that it wouldn't, not that it couldn't. It just at the time it wasn't in that position to do it. And that was one of the hardest things for me was like coming to terms with letting go of it because you can want something so badly that you'll hold on to it and you'll grip it hard. You won't want to let it go, but sometimes letting go is the best thing to do. And when I came to terms with it, I broke down. I won't lie. I broke down fiercely, um, wailing fiercely.
Yeah.
Like you could hear me 5 houses down. I was crying so hard when I came to terms with it. But it was refreshing because I got to go see another part of the country that I never would have otherwise on my own
Mm,
because there's still so much life to live that you're so close to everything you want to be close to that you don't even let yourself go experience what there is to go feel, to enjoy, to learn. So for me, that was one of the hardest things for me and for the guy who's like scared of transferring because you love it so much. You don't need to be scared because of the people, right? Real friends and people who really care about you will still want what's best for you, no matter if you're close to them or if you're far away from them. And the real ones just want you to succeed. And if that's where you're at, that's somewhere else. They don't care as long as you're succeeding, as long as you're continuing to grow. So if that next choice in life seems scary, there's a good reason it's scary.
thanks.
But if it's going to open up that door for you to actually become more than what you are, and it's going to pour into you so you can help others around you better, then jump into it scared because that's what you need to do.
Mm. No, that's well said, bro. Definitely. Um, definitely felt that, stepping into a new environment, new role, new position, new everything, new defensive
Mm,
scheme. And, a couple times where it was tough, you know what I'm saying? You have to really
mm.
rewire your whole brain and how you figure out things and how you go about things because not everybody's the same. The environment is
And
different.
not every coach and coaching staff speaks the same language.
That part. And the air is gonna be different, and
Mm,
you gotta switch the whole type of lingo. You gotta switch everything up, but that's not a
mm,
bad thing. It's just you're adding more tools to the toolbox, and that's gonna make you a lot more beneficial when you get to that point in that pivot time in that moment where it's time to make a real big decision for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's having that
mm,
mentality of yeah, it's gonna be tough and a tough truth to face, but something I learned, when I was in Nebraska is what's next. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool,
mm,
this was going on. That what's next mentality is going to be able to benefit you to pivot in the next direction to keep moving forward. Who is scared and he's already in the wrong place? Bro, you're not in the wrong place, bro. You just gotta grow, you know? And it's just that one time
mm,
where you just gotta just suck things up and just keep things pushing, you gotta keep things rolling and accept things for what it is. The truth The truth is already right there in front of you. The proof is in the pudding. Just keep moving forward, And I think that that acceptance part is so tough because just when I wasn't, I didn't want to leave Florida at all. I was so fully invested in, being a Gator. It was right over left till I die. I bleed orange and blue.
Yeah.
Still to this day, like, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I love Florida for what it is. I love that fan base. I love everything about that. So it's it's just one of those ones where you just have to really realize, like, all right, this is what's going on. Reality is starting to sink in. Let's pivot and let's move in a direction where it can benefit me in the long run. There'll be a time
Mm.
where I come back to Florida. There'll be a time where you'll come back to Auburn. But right now, got to do what's best for you because you can't keep suffering or you can't keep hurting yourself by trying to stay in a situation that is time for you to move on from. Yeah.
Because if you stay stuck for too long, if you stay stuck anywhere too long, you eventually gonna pass away. Like there's no other way around it. So it's like we don't like the last thing we want happening is like your dream passing away, your goals passing away, opportunities passing you by, all
Right.
because you decided you just didn't you could and it's not even that you didn't want to do something, it's that you couldn't see it for what it was. Like you were just saying, like you got to come to terms and accept it because when you can accept it and you know what the truth is, it makes it way easier to say, I have a decision to make.
Right.
And then it's just will you make a decision or not make a decision? Because regardless of whatever happens, if you decide to stay, like there is a consequence behind the decision. Is that consequence the one that's going to benefit you the most?
Exactly.
And you know, that's like a perfect take on like recruiting. Like so many guys think that once the school recruits you, that it's just sunshine and rainbows. And look, to a point, hey, it's sunshine and rainbows just to make sure you
To
see it's
get
green
you there,
to
to
get you there.
sign you there.
Yes,
But
but
man,
after you're in it, hey, it's different, and there's no more. It's not, hey, quite literally, no more funny business. Like now it's serious, and a lot of guys go into it thinking it's the same way. Again, y'all think it's the same way just because you've never been exposed to what it actually is.
yeah,
Not that y'all didn't, not that y'all weren't trying to take it seriously. Y'all just had no expectation of what to expect. And I can sit here and try to explain it, but every single staff is different. So I can't even give you a tried and true method. It's just you got to come into it knowing, yeah, your whole world's about to be flipped upside down. You're about to learn a whole new language you didn't know how to speak beforehand. You're about to you're going to meet new teammates. You're trying to make the best position you can on the team. And there's so much going on. And so if you enrolled early, you probably put yourself ahead of the curve in terms of time to learn it. If you enroll at the normal time, post December going into the summer, going into the summer, then just know like you're going into a short ticking clock to get going because the teams their timelines are so far ahead that by the time you're done with spring ball, I mean next time y'all are doing football for real, the season's right there in front of you.
thanks.
Like there's no more time to try to learn or maneuver around it to get ready.
Yeah,
And you know, look, and the recruiting ratings don't matter. Is I say the recruiting ratings don't matter. Yeah, they matter in terms of like how good you look public wise, but like what matters is that you ball out when you ball out.
mm.
If you can ball out, you're gonna have a chance. If you
Yeah, go
can't
find a way.
ball, you
What Dion say? If you don't ball, you don't get the call. If you ball, oh yeah, you gonna get that call for
you're
sure.
gonna get that call.
Right.
But yeah, when I talk about shattering, like y'all think it's easy just even as as freshmen or incoming college guys, like it's the same way even when you're in the portal, where they're gonna recruit you too. But like some guys just haven't gotten that the understanding of it's business. Even at that level, it's still business because like the transfer portal, all it's really doing is just exposing with what systems you've already been exposed to.
Mm.
Because you could have been at a good program, but they didn't run their culture the way the cultures ain't ran the same. So then you go to this other place, this new place, and it's completely different, and you have to adjust. And now the coaches are saying like, "Man, did we even get the right guy?"
Mm.
Nah, you definitely you were a guy. it's not a matter of if you can or can't do it. You know, it's like you're a guy. It's just, is that culture, is that system really the best thing for you to benefit with, like to help them with as soon as possible? Because like even transfer portal recruiting is like, a school might really recruit you and might mess with you heavy for whatever reason they like you, but even still, when you get there, it's the same old tale where it's a new language, a new system, and it's like either they already want you to be a part of the system, or they're going to help you be a part of it, or like you said
Transport
earlier, you have to put all your tools together and make something shake.
transport is about like depending on where you are and where you stand within the program's eyes, it's about performance. You put yourself in a performance.
Yes,
It's no longer,
yes.
you know, you're coming in as a freshman, they're developing you, they're enrolling you, and everything is that smooth process of like, oh yeah, okay, I get to be a freshman. When you transfer, you're on a standpoint and a basis of performing to see what you can offer and bring to the team, to bring to the ship that is going to sail when the season comes. And whatever your role is at that time or whatever you earn, to eat the food that's on the table while everybody's scavenging and trying to make sure they get what's theirs. You got the kiddie table, you know what I'm saying? And you got some vets that
Mm,
moved up. But you got the people who sit at the big table. You got the private tables, the VIP tables, and the VIP table. That's where your captain's gonna be able to sit at. The main general table, the huge table, that's where like people are trying to be the role players, and then the kiddie table is like where the freshman is in. But as a freshman, don't get it wrong, you can sit at the VIP table too, depending on how you come in with the process to work and manage your way. So
Now,
yeah,
for the people who don't get it, what you mean by kiddie table, you correct me if I'm wrong, Chief. When he's saying kiddie table, he's saying that when you go to the team, there is no doubt there is a structure behind who our players are,
hmm
who our core is, and then the young guys.
the
And I'm
development.
saying young guys,
Yeah,
and just since there's like y'all are just young guys who y'all have talent, but y'all don't know what's going on.
thanks.
And in those tables, it's like you got they're normally older vets because they got the maturity and the experience, but
Right,
you got the vets who coaches are like, yeah, you've been on the team, you play
dependables,
well, we rely on you because you
thrusters.
perform consistently, right? And it goes back to the performance, and it goes back to the
Keyword
performance side. Y'all
consistently.
perform consistently. Then
Consistent.
you got your core guys where it's like you got the guys who can really stand out, but you also got the guys who can't stand out, but they're not putting it together. But you still need them. They still a part of the team.
Right.
And these are guys filling in all the roles of where positions are not super consistent.
Exactly.
And then the young guys is like some of y'all flash up like he was just saying. Some of y'all can flash to that VIP where coaches are going to rely on you consistently. And y'all can also be on the complete opposite end of it, where it's like coaches just going to disregard you and say, "All right, let's just let them have a year,"
Yeah.
because they might not even develop you. It's just like they're not going to rely on you like they could.
Yeah. That next year though, it's gonna pick up for sure.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because no time, no
what's
time
that?
for the
What's that
weary.
Q3 for you?
Yeah. My answer was that was my cue. That was my cue for sure.
That was already
Because it's
Q3.
like if I'm not wrong,
No, we already talked about it. We definitely hit it on it. What is one moment your journey that completely shattered how you thought recruiting worked and what did
yeah.
it
Because I
teach
about
you?
to say I got a whole story,
I love
but
it.
this would I'd rather go into it. It's probably better for another question.
All
It,
right, good.
it, it is about a guy who they brought him in, but then they dissed him, right? And so that's what I ain't about to
All
I
right.
ain't trying to throw nobody under the bus, but you know what I'm saying.
Q4 then Q4.
Chief, looking back at everything that you went through as a player from Florida and
Yes.
UNLV, like, excuse me, hold on. Like, Chief, you and I both have a strong aspect of like faith and believing in God and who God
Facts.
is, right? And if I were to say who God is, I'm saying, yeah, God is Jesus Christ. That's
Oh,
who God is, and it's not wrong. And I'm pretty sure you're on the same page, um, because everybody's going to say what they think God is. right? But me and Chief are telling you right now, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, right? Just flat out. So everybody's on the same page now. But like in everything we've been through so far, especially college, like when did you see God clearly
Mm.
in the hard moments, the tough moments, the moments you were like, I'm not even sure of myself. I'm not sure if this is, I'm that doubt.
When it comes to that, he was always there because I grew up in a Muslim household and a Jehovah's Witness household put together. So it was one or the other. But one thing is, once I like started to like be more wise and have my own perspective of things, I realized like, okay, I get to develop and build my own relationship with him. You know, and in my spirit is more so realizing when I was at my lowest and I was being counted out, or I just couldn't. I was in that chapter of rewiring my brain when I was in Nebraska. There was nothing to do out there pretty much but self-reflect, and I was able to take advantage of that. And the coaches, they was getting on me. You know what I'm saying? I was on the words were written on the wall that, hey, if you don't get your act together, it's going to not be good for you. And once I allowed myself to really just kind of be grounded and just stick it out and figure things out, that's when I was really spoken to in that moment where, hey, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this. But let's have a plan. Let's find
Mm,
inner peace. Let's work on what you got going on right now. Let's take baby steps before you try diving into the big ocean and the big waves. Cause you always try to go for the big old pool, and you know dang well you can't swim because you're not grounded yet. And those waves are
mm,
those waves are gonna knock you over, and you're gonna panic. But let's go ahead and get back in this this training pool, and figure
mm,
things out as you go. And then once you're able to ride those big waves, they'll come. They'll come.
mm,
And that's where that transition phase of like it was Chief Borders, the content creator, to Chief Borders who plays football and does content as a hobby. And balancing between those two has allowed me to really transcend from like a lot of bad habits that I had growing up. And here I am now. Yeah.
man,
What about you?
when you said the writings on the wall, I connected with that because I literally I was so in love with Auburn, what it stands for, and I still am. But at the time, I was so captured by like what Auburn's supposed to be that I could not get my own self out my way. I quite
Right.
literally couldn't get myself out the way. And I remember I've been praying. I've been praying. I'm like, God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking for or targeting, if this is the right thing, if this is not the right thing. I just need help to see it the way you want me to see it. And I was a lot like you where my family, believe it or not, my grandfather he used to be a Freemason.
Mm,
And he told me, he's like, yeah, it's a satanic cult. And he would never talk about what he did. And I just got to the point where it's like I believe him because I remember asking him like, why are we Christian? Why do you say we're Christian? I don't even know why. He's like, because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was the only God to answer me when I was pursuing where is God and who is he? That was the only one that answered. He was like, that's the honest to God reason why we're even Christian is because I looked at everything possible. I looked at Islam, I looked at Buddhism, I looked at everything after that. But the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was the only one that answered me when I was trying to get clarity. And that's why we're Christian. And like you were saying, I was raised in a house like that, but that doesn't mean that I was fully invested in everything that they were trying to teach me. Like it did get to a point where it's like I didn't like want to go to church with them, and they're like, "Yeah, we love you enough to know like we got to let you make the decision on your own." And so that's when it for me was like again when you're kind of by yourself to contemplate about who you are, what you're trying to do. Like early on, like that was the case for me where it's like, yeah, my family's Christian, but I don't really understand it myself, so
mm.
I don't really have a tie to it. That's just the title that I have. And going forward, it was it got to a point for me where, you know, I got baptized eventually, and I didn't do anything for like a year with it. Like I felt good for like the first week after I got baptized, and I just went right back to my old self. I wasn't even stunting anything. But it got to a point where it's like, you know, I say I'm supposed to be a Christian here, but I'm not even reading my Bible. I'm not even doing anything. So I'm like, I might as well go ahead and get started and just dig into it if that's what I'm saying will be. And
uh,
that's when I started digging into like growing my own faith and my own walk, like you said, developing my own relationship with
relationship,
God.
yeah, man.
And so I'd read the Bible for like an hour on the bus every morning, mostly in Proverbs, because I'm like, where should I start reading? She's like, go get some wisdom, young man. I'm like, all right. So I go in Proverbs just trying to get more wisdom, like you just said. Like, God, teach me how to be wise and
Right.
use it. Right. If I can use wisdom, I can do everything. Um, and for me, if I hadn't been growing my relationship with God to help me see it for what it was, because I was too close, I couldn't see it. And quite literally, there was a man in that building. I love him dearly, like a father. His name is, I call him Mr. Bedsoul, and he pulled me in. He was like, Wesley, like I love you enough to tell you like the truth because I don't think you know it. Like I'm just telling you what the coaches think about you, and I want you to know because I feel convicted to tell you now. Because he's also a man of faith. He's like, if I don't tell you, I'm in the wrong for not telling you when I had the opportunity to tell you. And basically, the situation was, yeah, you're trying to put out a house fire with a water gun. Like that was my situation, where it's like, it's not that you can't do it, but like that's how bad the situation looks for you. Is like you're trying to put out a house fire with a water gun, and it's, you know, like you were saying about the identity. Like at that point, like I was like this close to graduating, and I had to do like my teaching internship, and that was one of the hardest things I've done, was like trying to be a full-time teacher and also doing sports and also training and then showing up for team activities, coming out to practice, catching up on meetings when it's like I have to be a full-time teacher to graduate because of my internship, and if I don't do this, I don't graduate. But it's literally the last thing I need, you know, but unfortunately, the new staff just got there, so this new staff doesn't know me. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I've been through. I say, hey, I have to not I have to lock this in and knock this out to graduate.
Mm.
Oh, you don't care about this team, do you? No, I didn't say that. but uh, but you know that's the sentiment behind it, where it's like, well, you're never around. We don't know who you are. We don't have a relationship with you.
Got you.
And I love Auburn enough, but they just got here. They don't know me. They don't know anything about me, right? And it's just that, and that's a lot of cases for a lot of guys where new staffs are coming in, old staffs are gone. They don't know what you've been through. They don't really know you, and you might not have the opportunity to get to know them, right?
Yeah,
That
when
was
that
my
process
situation where
starts over,
I
yeah.
didn't really get that much. Like I didn't have a lot of time to get to know this new staff the way I'd known the previous staff. You know, and had I had the relationship the same, yeah, it probably would have looked a lot different. But I saw God the most clearly then because of how things transpired around me and how easily and quickly things happened after that. Because a lot of times when God wants to put you in position for something, you don't have to work super hard to for when the opportunity comes. It kind of just falls into place because you've done everything. And my grandmother would always tell me stuff like that, was like, yeah, you never have to work. You might try to do something under your own power and nothing works. And then as soon as you give up and you say, God, let your will be done in how the situation, the thing you were asking for or something around it just falls right to you. And you weren't even trying to go get it. It just fell. And she's like, that's how God does a lot of things. When you try so hard to do something, right? For me, I was trying so hard to stay with Auburn that the moment I let go, it was like, oh yeah, this is clear. This is okay. It's okay.
Real talk.
I have you under control, right? I'm in control of your life first and foremost. You weren't in control. I'm in control, right? That was God's message to me, is I am in control. You don't have to worry. I'm going to take care of you because I've never given you a reason not to trust me. And he's never failed me, right? So again, it kind of goes back to like seeing God clearly for who he is in our own relationship. Like, God, you are who you say you are.
Got you.
and that was definitely one of the best moments I had. That was like super clear that like I saw God be who He said He was in that moment.
What is the biggest pain from your journey that you never want another player to experience, or a person and player to experience, and what does he or she need to do right now to avoid it?
You need to put you need to get a plan together and have the right people with you to do that plan.
Mm,
Because it doesn't matter where you are, it
mm,
doesn't matter what position you're at, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing. If you have the right people behind you with a good plan, there's almost nothing that can go wrong. Things may fall around, they may fall like, or they may fall apart around you outside of you, but in terms of you bringing what you have, oh yeah, you'll be fine. Because no matter what's going to happen at that point, you have the people and you've done the work, and that's going to show for itself. There's nothing you can do to replace great work done well. There's nothing you can do. And once you got it, you got it. You know, no one can strip it from you. That's
yeah,
like that's so the biggest pain I want people to know to avoid is you want to avoid disappointment from the system around you. The best thing to do is make your own system for yourself. That way you don't need the system. Like, yeah, it's good to have the people in the system around you, but you can function independently without them.
got you.
And like that's what I help guys do right now is like you need a plan. You need somebody in your corner like me to make sure everything you're doing, all the work that's being done is exactly the way it needs to be.
Mm,
Because if you go here, if you go somewhere else, look, hey, I'll tell you, my coach T. Will recruited me to come to Auburn, and one of the things he would always tell us about transferring was you're the same person you are when you got here, and you're gonna be the same person you are when you leave. You're gonna be the same person. You might think the grass is greener on the other side, but if you don't have the capability of handling it yourself, you're gonna get the same result because you got to change.
the
You got
water.
to change for what needs to happen for you. It's not the other place's job to change. It's your job to change for you. And that's the pain I want guys to avoid experiencing is like, yeah, there's a lot of disappointment you can avoid if you simply put the right people around you that are independent from whatever else is happening around you. And then you just do the work. Because again, do the work with the right people and it will not fail whatsoever.
And the process. I mean, that's so
Exactly it.
dope.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Process. Yeah, and establish a great process for yourself to keep moving forward and to have the self reflection. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't self reflect.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people don't self reflect to actually, channel in that energy that they do bring to the table or kind of pivot it in different directions of what needs to be done to move forward. That's something that me
Yes.
and you possibly like we both went through. You know what I'm saying? Like just kind of being in that moment where you could possibly be taken advantage of, and then you also got to pull back and just kind of realize and observe how things can be maneuvered in different ways, in different shapes and aspects, and just allowing that to happen. I'll say one painful moment is never let them see you down. Never let them see you on your lowest. Never let them see you cry.
Mm,
Never let them see you, where everything is just crashing down and burning. You just don't have it all together emotionally. You just think everything is like going wrong. Don't
mm,
let them see you down on your lowest. Protect
mm.
yourself. Have that type of intent. Have that type of mindset where you are strong and that you're going to get through it and that God is going to be with you every step of the way because it's already written. So protect yourself from having like an emotional breakdown, emotional moment. And your emotions get the best of you. It's good to be
And
emotional, but
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, it's good to be emotional, but you gotta be able to, have the type of mentality to control those emotions and use it to a advantage, not, leverage you out of your position or out of your mind to, you know, make something worser than what you think it already is.
I guarantee y'all listening right now. I guarantee we are not saying when we say they, we are not talking about your close teammates. Those are the guys you can do it around. The people you don't do it around is the coaching staff that you are not very close with. Don't
Yeah.
have a bond. Don't have a deep bond. That's what when we say they. That's who they is. The coaching staff that does not have a deep personal connection with you. The
That's fair.
players and the coaches that you do have it with, and it's deep, and y'all know it's deep. That's when it's okay. But any other time is not okay because you don't have that maturity yet because you've not processed because it's a different. It's just so different. It's so drastically different than anything else you've experienced before in the environment you're in. And
Mm.
so when Chief's saying like don't break down, he's telling you don't break down because you haven't learned how to control and properly communicate what is really bothering you in a way that's going to get you the result. I
Bingo.
promise you that it's just so abnormal that you trying to do it when you think you because again you're not wrong for feeling the way you feel, but you're going to try to communicate that and it's not going to come across right, and then that sets you back. That sets you back even more. Like I kid you not, I kid you. Chief is exactly right because I'll tell you a story on this one. Um, Yeah, it got to a point when I was at Auburn one time where I didn't believe the level of coaching was up to standard compared to what I'd seen before or seen from others. And I told the head honchos at the time, it's like, yeah, this ain't it. What I'm seeing ain't it. And not that I feel like some type of way, but I just know that this ain't it. And so I know somebody has to say this. Somebody has to say something because the last thing I want is to get to the end of the season and this is the first time I've ever heard that there was a problem.
Mm.
And I know, and again, like when Chief's saying like you can't have those emotional moments in front of them, it's because they see the emotional moment as you being unreliable, uncontrollable, and someone who's not mature enough to handle his own business, completely bypassing the fact that you might be a 17, 18, 19-year-old young man who's probably experiencing this for the first time on his own. Right? That's not what they're seeing because they're looking at you as an integrated part of the team. So now all of a sudden, because you've expressed this to them in the way you have, yeah, it just turns negative. Even if you're right, it just turns negative in their eyes, and we don't want y'all going through that. I've been there. Like I knew what I was getting into when I told those coaches. I knew what
Mm.
I was getting into. I knew it was going to land on my head, but I'm like, look, somebody's got to do it. Somebody, and I was willing to put myself in the way because it's like I know y'all boys can't do it, and y'all boys don't deserve this. Y'all boys don't deserve it this way. This is not the best coaching we could be getting right now at Auburn University. It's not. It's not. Hey, it's a big time university. It's like you have that expectation, like it's supposed to be elite level. And then when you experience it and you see it for yourself, okay, you know what's good and what's not good. And this goes back to when I was a young guy too. I felt the same way when I was a young guy. I had KJ Britt and Chandler Wooten tell me, "Young buck, shut up for your sake." Hey, still got the same heart, but they're exactly right. I didn't have the experience. I didn't know what I was talking about. I knew what I was feeling, but I didn't know what I was talking about. So when we say they, it's those coaches that don't have that relationship with you. I'm sounding like Cam Newton right now, ain't I? The way he be talking.
Shout out Unc, man.
but
Bless the
but
babies, man. No cap.
no, but just know if you a young buck and you feeling a type of way, definitely. Hey, you young, you just got there. Do not, boy, don't you do it. Don't do it. And don't you dare do it. Don't you dare. They gonna try to ship you out there as fast as they can because you haven't even had the opportunity to really ball out the way you could yet.
Mm.
Because it's different when you ball in high school versus you there now. And so all of a sudden you're experiencing all these new emotions and new feelings. They're gonna look at you like, maybe he wasn't our guy.
They're observing.
And so
Yeah, they gonna
Chief,
observe.
like go ahead, take on that one.
I mean,
It's okay. It's good.
I think
When
you
we
just gotta
say
kind of
they,
laugh at it. You
just
just
know
gotta
that's
kind of,
who we're talking about. That's who
yeah,
they
you
is.
just kind of gotta laugh at it because it's like, okay, when you actually take yourself out the picture and then you start to peel back everything, the layers that you have within yourself, and then everything just starts to be like, you know what? That's on me. That's on
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
That's on me for not pivoting when I should have. That's on me
That
for feeling
self-reflection
too
you was
much.
just talking about.
That's on me for not. And then what Wesley saying, y'all, is like, yo, there's pros and cons. I'd
Yeah,
rather you
hey,
have more
you got it. I'm learning.
pros than cons. And the biggest con that you can have is being emotional. Because when
Mm,
you're emotional, you're not coachable. And when you're not coachable, you're not able to play and process emotion, and they can't trust you to be consistent enough to put you on the field. And when you have that, you're not a good football player because that emotion blocks you from thinking straight, blocks you from being consistent, blocks you from being coachable, blocks you from being that guy.
mm.
That where you try to be on the pro side, you might have a lot to say. You might have a lot on your chest to say, but your heart telling you, I need to get this out. Your brain telling you, shut up.
Shut up.
Just keep moving how you move. Pivot in a direction. Get with that GA. Be more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that energy that you have in your heart and your chest back into that process that we were talking about. That
Yeah.
process, as long as your process is good, because we've been there. Oh yeah, I'm about to wake up at freaking 7 a.m. I'm about to go train. I'm about to go train by myself, just out there doing whatever. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There might be something that you might get out of that. You might be testing out your band. You might be doing something. But the moment and effect in the detail where you actually start to develop a process for yourself and you know what works and then you can add on to certain things, then you can also piggyback off of other people and just hear what they be doing to make, you know, and then you just start to develop and go from there. But pros and cons, man. You rather have more
You
pros
got
than
you
cons.
got to develop you got to develop that you got to develop that process. It's got to be your process. That's what makes it so special. That's what makes it so powerful is when it's yours. Because nobody's out there to hold your hand. So yeah, you got to use pieces to get started and then you have to execute and do those pieces.
Yeah.
If you don't use them, if you don't do it, yeah, your process never really takes form. It doesn't hold. And you can't really add something new to something that's already not stable. And the pros and cons. Hey, Chief, I'll tell you, like even in the pros, shut up, young guy, because technically you and I are gonna be rookies still, right? Shut up, right?
Hey, I
You
need
you
that. Thank
got
you.
there. What you have to say is valuable and good, but you're not in a position at the time to make the most impact with what you got to say, which is why you have to be quiet. Because again, if I say something, you just emotional. You not professional. Professionals, hey, we're about the results. We're about handling the business. If you're emotional, that's on the completely different side of handling business. They don't coexist, and the only time you can really express it is the right opportunities and the right times, or when they've let you know, yeah, this is the right time to communicate about these problems, right? And at this point, the pros and cons of it really come down to the experience of older guys who understand these humans, understand the people, and you got to you got to use that information because they have a layer of depth that you don't got. And if you don't use them, it just singles you out, right? And that's the last thing we want. We don't want coaches singling out players because he's emotional, he's not coachable, he's not playable. That's the last thing we want. You were meant to play, otherwise you wouldn't be there. So if
Right.
you can't play and do that part, they're going to get you out of there.
Real
And it
talk.
doesn't matter if you high school, college, or pro. It just happens on all three levels. There is a right time to do it, but you got to use your
Emotional
older vet
intelligence.
experience. You got to use them to filter what you got to say
Thanks.
and when to say it. Because if you say it at the wrong time, it's the biggest con you can have. You toast, buttered, smothered, right? That type of toast. You toast. Oh my
Hey,
goodness. Chief. How did okay, let's put some context for them. Like
what's that next
you
school?
and
Oh,
I,
you got
you
the
and I
next
were
one. Okay,
both,
never mind.
you and I
Yeah,
were both high school players in Georgia.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll be frank, like the reason why I wanted to succeed and get recruited and play at a Division I school was because that was the only means for me to actually go to college. right? I knew my family couldn't take care of it.
Real
And
talk.
so I'm doing everything I can. And I'm going to camps. And lo and behold, I see this young man. His name's Chief. I'm like, man, Chief's a cool name. I'm not going to lie. And he's a good player. Like, man, I like this guy. This guy cool. Right.
Oh my
And
god.
so it's like that was my first real experience with you just bumping
Yeah.
into you. And then we just kept bumping into each other. And it's like, man, we get to check
Camp
in.
after camp.
What's going on? How's
Yeah.
things moving? How's the
Visit
recruiting
after
going?
visit. Not gonna lie, bro. Visit after visit, bro. Man, Wes, I think our first time meeting each other was at the rivals camp, if I'm not mistaken.
Had
It
to be.
might it might have been so I think it was the rivals camp at North Cobb High School. I think it was that one. I don't know. It was you know what? It was one of them camps.
There
Let's
were
just say
there
that.
were there were
It
multiple of
was
them. Yeah, I'm
multiple
with you.
times where we crossed paths, and it
Multiple.
was like, yeah, like, and it was like Wesley Steiner. Like, this guy can,
Steiner is like what?
he
And
can,
then
like, what? Like, this guy can hit. He can, bro, offers out the wazoo, fam. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to be like that guy, because, dang. Then I never
and
forget.
on top of that, like I'm
Yeah,
always
go ahead.
around. So it's like I see him right
Yeah,
now. Like what's
yeah,
going on? Like I gotta
facts.
know.
And it was love. It was love.
It
It
was
was
love.
love ever
It was
since then.
love.
It was like nothing but mad love and mad respect. Then when I seen like the type of when we actually, I think we was on a visit together when we was at Auburn. I think we went to one of the games.
Camps. It was definitely one of the
The
camps. I
Auburn
was
camp.
just thinking about that. It was
It
definitely one of
was
the
that
camps.
Auburn camp, and I was just like, yo, like, and I think he
It's
was already.
you. It's Chief. I'm
I'm
like
like,
Chief. What's
yo,
going
what's so
on?
good? And then the last time we had seen, I think I was already committed to like, oh, I was actually no, I was getting ready to commit to Florida, but I went to that Auburn camp, and it was one of those ones where it was like, you know what? Yeah, bro. Like, this is my guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we just had that same type of enthusiasm about football. Had that same type of
Mm-hmm.
growth, that structure to be like, yo, my parents not going to be able to get this, you know what I'm saying, going. Like, everybody else went to college, you know what I'm saying? They can only afford for one person to go to college, and that was my sister. They knew I was going to have to make something shake. So what we did, we made some shake, bro. And
Made
seeing
some
that
shake.
ferociousness, that fierceness, and in your eyes, Wes, man, it allowed me to just continue to keep going and move forward because it was one of those ones where you just be like, all right, bet real recognize real. You know what I'm saying? So, man, much love to you, family. Always.
Like you were just saying, like you can see the determination in somebody, and like when the ability's there is like it's great, but then when you see the determination on top of it and then consistently showing up, it's like, yeah, you definitely gonna be fine because you one of them. And
Mm,
like you were just saying, real recognize real, and real only recognizes real because of those guys' process. And our process, as raw as it was so determined on doing, 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 performing.
yeah,
And that was the part of the process.
perform.
So like you and I would always be at these camps performing, training. I say training. We're out there performing. We're out there competing more than anything.
Thanks.
And because we always competing, eventually it exposes you to more talent, and then you're like, man, there's another level to it. And
Thanks.
so then you go back and like now I'm working out even harder because I know there's these guys out here that they like that. They determined. They like that. I gotta get right. I gotta beat them. That's what I'm trying to do. I gotta beat them and be like these guys I've seen. Like Owen Papa was one of those guys. Like I always looked up to, and it's like, man, this guy. I'm a lot like him. I'm trying to get to his numbers, and I'm trying to get to his stats, and I'm like, man, he popping. I'm like,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But I see
That
myself
moment,
in him, so I'm
yeah.
trying to get like that.
Thanks. Entering that college standpoint, I always ask, like, what were you feeling when you first touched foot on like that grass of Auburn, bro? You know, that first time getting on campus, you feeling yourself, and you trying to make plays. You know what I'm saying? What was that first
Yeah.
feeling like when you actually got a chance to step foot on that football field and was like, yeah, I'm a War Eagle, bro.
It's probably the same way you felt when you got to Florida, and it's like there would be moments I have where it's like I did it.
Mm,
I did this. I
mm.
did it. Like all my effort, all my work has like gotten me to this point where I can sit here. I'm looking at the field like, dog, I was just out here doing a camp with all these other kids performing, but I'm here. And like I did it. That's like the only really recurring thing is like I did it. And then you meet your teammates and it's like, y'all boys did it too.
Thanks.
Y'all boys like that too. And it's like, man, now I feel so close to y'all because I know what it took for me to get here. And so I know that it's something similar for y'all. well,
Facts.
y'all did a lot of work and effort and showing out, and now we all here together at this point.
Mm,
So it's like I'm trying to be close to y'all because I feel like y'all just like me.
come
And
on.
that was the feeling I'd always had where it's like y'all boys are ballers and y'all like me
Right.
because we out here together trying to do this now. And like, dog, my class, hey man,
Y'all was loaded.
ballers,
Yeah,
man. Like,
y'all
hey,
was talked about highly. Didn't you have who? You have Ramel Keaton there. I mean, not Ramel Keaton.
Romello Heights.
Romello Height. My boy.
Yes.
I just got done training with my boy, man. Romello Height.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, because again, like he from Dublin, so it's like he also a Georgia boy, so it's like, bro, real
Yeah.
recognize real. It's like I love Mello. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
I've always loved Mello, always
Always.
respected Mello. Like Tank too. It's like
Yeah.
I
Take that for
respect you, I
sure.
love you. You my brother still, because
Take
it's like,
Bigby.
bro,
I'm
we did
taking
this.
him. Take Big.
I
Yeah.
know how you are.
Yeah.
Like it's just different, especially because we Georgia boys. It's like it's different, but we all doing the right different. That's why we here, and it's just like it goes back to that point where it's like I got nothing but love because I just want to see y'all succeed. And it's like I know that y'all should be succeeding and balling out because we all got the ability and talent. And then this kind of goes back to like what do we want guys to avoid. We want to make sure if I guess that's the truth. What we want y'all avoiding is not being able to show off the God given talent you got, not being able to show off the ability you have. And so
Yeah.
we saying all this
The
because we
things
want
that
y'all to
would hinder you
capitalize.
along the process of showing your light towards what you know you can be. But
Mm,
those are things and factors that people do have, and that that's why you have the 5-star makeup, and sometimes people they get judged off your character, not just off your skill set, but your character and how you can really
mm,
develop into somebody who can flourish in a program. Does he have the mentality to know the playbook? Does he have the effort and the drive and the charisma, the enthusiasm to make things shake when things get tough or rough? But that's only tested, when you actually get in there. Them scouts don't know anything about you, man. They don't care about what you're going through, man. They not.
mm-mm,
They not gonna
mm-mm.
understand, oh man, like I'm the youngest out of this, and my mom,
They
she
don't
just did this
care.
and she
They don't
sacrificed that, and
care.
my dad sacrificed this, and I
They
got a lot of
don't.
this going on. Nah, bro. Hey, look, what can you do for your
Right
sister?
now.
What can you do
Right
for us
now.
in this
Right now.
moment? Where can you apply this light that we recruited you from in this moment right now, in this exact moment? And if you got something that's hindering you in this mindset of where you think you deserve a spot, where you're emotionally unstable, ungrounded, I can't talk to you, you're not being
Mm,
coachable, you're not being consistent because you got other
mm,
things going on in your head. Trust me,
mm,
we have been there. Me and Wes been there. So just man, like I said, bro. And I think this kind of goes into like the closing. Like, watch it right now. Look, you gonna get a shot. You gonna get an opportunity. But let's go ahead and tie it back into what me and Wes was saying, bro. That process, hey man, go ahead and put discipline at the top of the freaking list because it's gonna take a lot of it.
hey, I don't think they heard you, so make sure you say it again slowly so these young guys can get it right.
That process, make sure that you take the discipline to a higher level. You want to be great, you say it. Oh, it's gonna take some real deal research, some real deal grit, of mentality, some self reflection, accountability. When you feel like you're in the right, and coach saying this, accountability, just shut up and saying, "Oh yes, sir." Nah, 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 coach. Nah, no, sir. Yeah, for sure, coach. Yes, sir. And just being okay with that. You might know deep down that you got something that it could have been better on this situation if you would have done this, but that's not what is meant. That's not what is asked of you. Do what is asked for you, and you're gonna be okay. The more you do what is asked for you consistently, is the more you'll be okay. And having discipline to carry along that as time goes on, because you're going to develop and you're going to grow. They're going to get you big, strong, fast. Big, strong, fast. Mentality wise, everything else has to play a role. And it's up to you to do that self reflection if you want to grow into a better person. Because a player, okay, cool. But who are you when you take that helmet off? That's when you actually got to look in the mirror and be like, all right, cool. Let me get in my film book. Let me, relax. Let me woosah right quick to figure out how I can get back grounded so I can attack the next play or attack the next day at my best ability.
And Chief, you so on point, and like y'all boys, he's not wrong, and y'all just got to get the depth of what we saying. If you do not consistently, whether you're high, whether you're low, whether you're happy, whether you're sad, you have to keep consistently chipping away at this.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're not going to go where you want to go, because they're going, again, like that's like the baseline. They're going to get you a little bit bigger. They're going to get you a little bit faster. They're going to get you a little bit stronger. They'll take care of that physically. The part that you have to take care of, the 80%, because 20% is you physically. The other 80% is actually you mentally getting this process down.
Come on.
Is you have to do the work necessary. If you know you got to go do film, you're going to sit there, open up your film. Then you're going to say, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know how to look at this. Hey, bingo. That's right. That's what, hey, owning it right then and there. I don't know. I need to go find somebody. If coach can't do it, I find the next one. If he can't do it, I find the next one. If he can't do it, I find the next one. If he can't do it, I find the next one.
You go find
And you
somebody.
keep going down
Go find
until
somebody.
you get your solution, because you're going to sit there, go to coach, I can't help you. I can't help you, son. I got things going on. Dang, okay. Go to GA. Hey, I can't help you. I can't help you this time. I can get you then. But that time don't work with you. You got to do the best next thing, not just give it up the first, second, third time. And if you go to older guy says, yeah, I can't help you. I got class or something, bro. Hit me up later though. You got to go to the next choice. You got to now.
Hey, but
If
also
you,
look,
because again,
hey,
you're gonna sit here and hit roadblock, and you're gonna say, I guess it ain't meant for me. No, idiot, it is meant for you. Wake up. But that's what we talk about. When we talk about you getting disciplined enough to get this, you have to be disciplined enough to say, I will consistently keep finding the way to get this.
yeah,
Because if you
man.
don't, you will not progress.
Come on, man.
It don't
Come
matter
on.
if it's film, it don't matter if it's nutrition, it don't matter if it's medical. Get right. You keep bugging people until you
Oh,
find the right person who can help you. And if none of them can help you, then they should be fired. Because that's their
facts.
job, is to help you. That's their job. So I don't ever,
Hey,
when
Wes, I'm
Chief, if
crying.
y'all not hearing what Chief's saying, hope y'all hear what my slap said. Stop giving yourself an easy out, and you go find, and you
You
find
find
it
your answer, bro.
10,000 ways to get what you got to get. You go find it. Even if it's the sixth time you being told no or I can't help you, you go find the seventh.
Yeah. Yep.
And everything, go find the help, because you can't do it by yourself. But then once you master it, hey, now you can take care of it on your own, because you
Then you
know
got to
now.
process, and then that's
Then
when
you
you
got to
build.
process.
Then you build. Look, when we say process, bro, process. An example of this, and this is, this would be like maybe a closing right here statement. Like when we talk about process, an example of a process would be like, you know, having or finding that GA, watching film consistently with him on a Wednesday at 12 o'clock noon in the springtime. Practice is over. He has a little segment, a gateway where he, and you know, like that's where you actually can figure out how you can develop a process. Now you're doing that every day. Okay, boom, you have that. Then you putting in extra work in after practice. Maybe Monday you want to work pass rush, and maybe Tuesday you want to work hands. Maybe Wednesday, you get with the GA that you just met with on film, and that he's able to pull up some. Who's your favorite pass rusher? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to do this. Well, he does this move very well, so let's work this after practice. That's when you start to develop that process. And then when you go about that, now you're starting to meet with your coach, and he's starting to see that you flashing on film, and then you're going from there. And your coach is really rocking with you. Now you're starting to meet with coach for like 15, 20 minutes. You're stopping in, trying to see what he's writing up. He probably could be putting in new plays and new installs, and your name is written all over it because you've been consistent in practice and you've been consistent on your process. So,
And your process is starting to show up where it really matters, is in front of the coach, that, man, he's up here, he's around, he's actively putting in work, and he
yep,
is doing, not that he is trying, but that he is doing. And when you start knocking those out and you start developing this, because there's no other way around this. You have to develop this yourself. There's no other way around it. No one's there to hold your hand. So either you do it or no one does it at all.
Mm.
If you don't do it, you might as well kiss your butt out.
So,
You got that's what we said. We're not trying to intimidate you or scare you. It's just like, no, owning your process means you will consistently do it, whether you chilling or not. You don't got to go crazy all the time. You don't got to go super hard, but you have to do it consistently. Something consistently. Just chip at it. Even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just start with 10 minutes and then go to 11 minutes, right? That's all
right.
we need is these little progressions because that's what builds the process. You don't build the whole road all in one day. You got to lay it brick by brick. So if you don't lay any bricks, bro, then you're not going nowhere.
Come on, man. That's beautiful. Well
Come
said,
on, man.
man.
Look. So Chief, I just want to make sure that everybody's got an opportunity to hear more about you
Yeah, we ain't
because
got it
you
all on the
matter,
table,
dog.
man. We
Like
could definitely,
people need to be getting in touch with you a lot more
yeah.
than they need to. But if the right family and athletes watching us right now, the ones that God made us to help,
Mm.
what does that kid look like? Who's the kid God made you to help right now?
Uh, I'll say like the ones that are really going through like a struggle with like mental health. You know,
And what's he feeling from that?
what's he feeling? What's he feeling from that?
What's he feeling? Yes.
He feel like the world is on his shoulders. There's a lot of things, a lot of blockage in his head. Everything is cloudy. You know, he's trying to figure out some things, and a lot of people are pulling at him, tugging at him, and he's just trying to find a way to get grounded and just hear things clearly because he can't hear his thoughts right now. So he just gotta
What's
move
Go ahead.
forward. He gotta find some clarity within himself, and then just kind of keep finding a way to pour in to where it's needed. Get a late night routine. You know what I'm saying? Get you a morning routine. Get you something that really pours back into yourself. So that's what
What's the first step you want him to take into your world, where he gets to hear more about you or talk more with you, or what's the
I'm.
first thing? What's the first thing he needs to do that?
What does peace look like to the younger version of you when you was outside playing as a kid? What brought you happiness and joy when you was a child? What brought you happiness and joy when you were that little kid running around and nothing else mattered but the the light and joy that you brought to your family, to yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Figure that out, and then find a way to get that back rolling for yourself.
What's going to change when they decide to do this seriously and they do this?
Mm. You'll start to see a lot of you'll start to see that childhood version step into the reality version of where you're at right now, and you're gonna allow
Mm,
yourself to be where your feet are. Genuinely, be where your
mm,
feet are, and when you are where your feet are, that means you're grounded. That means you're able to hear, that discernment, that wisdom come into your head and be like, nah, I wouldn't go this way. You listen to your gut, you listen to your spirit, and it's gonna tell you what you need to be doing, what you don't need to be doing,
mm.
keeping you out of harm's way.
Man, how do we get in contact with you if that's me?
Oh man, Chief Borders, man. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter at Chief Borders. You know, and just hit me up. Hit me up and on IG, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Shoot me your number, shoot me film. I'm always open to help, be a helping hand, and serving my purpose, man. And share my testimony, man. Real talk.
Man, I think I'm a DM you right now, Chief. I
Ah.
saw when you was talking with Wesley. I heard it. I gotta DM you, man. I heard what
Man,
you said.
Wes,
You it
man, I
really reached out to me,
appreciate it. Yeah,
man.
man, real talk, man. Anytime, fam, anytime. Wes my dog, man. Wes my dog. He got it. Hey, I know if you got in contact with Wes, any person that's good with Wes, man, is a great person that's good with me, man. And man, Wes, much love, fam. Much love,
Uh,
gang.
I appreciate that. If y'all trying to get right and get the clarity, because a lot of
Yeah.
y'all just need clarity and to develop this your own process. It don't matter if you're in college, if you're in high school. Like y'all just got to start developing your process and use somebody that's gonna help you do it. And if you ain't got it around you, you got somebody like me. You got somebody like Chief. That we love helping guys do that. Follow me on Instagram at it's your boy underscore Wes. You watch the YouTube channel here, any other forum, but literally direct message me saying exactly what happened or why you're reaching out, and then we'll get you right. But let's wrap this up because we got things to do. For the players that are watching us right now and they're grinding, they don't feel like they being seen, and they worry they won't get an opportunity. What's one thing you want him to take away from what we talked about today?
Be mindful of yourself. Be mindful of what of yourself and what you got going on, but start to compartmentalize your life in football and outside of football. Because
Mm.
the moment where you're able to compartmentalize and put things on segments and switches and like light switches, everything in your brain is like light switches. You can flip things on and off and you can figure things out as you go. So, as a small trait, when you flip that switch going into that football facility, it has to be business. It got to be a process that I'm in my process now. I'm in my process element. My schedule for my process is uploaded. This is what I got to do Monday through Sunday for myself. I'm, this. But when we exit that facility, then you're able to turn that switch off and then compartmentalize on the life aspect. If you got different kind of meetings, you might be in FCA, you might be in, student council, student athlete council, you might be in just chilling at the crib, go home, play a gamer, that be your time, your routine to recoup, to recollect yourself, content creating, those are the things that what makes you fishing, whatever, getting up with the boys, talking. You and your girl might have a date, you know what I'm saying? Just compartmentalize and get things rolling, That way you're not so tied in and those two worlds start to collide and mash together, and then now you're just starting to see yourself as just a football player. No, you're a
And that's not
person.
all you are. That's not all we are either. So like the Chief's exactly right. Like you, hey, just write, especially write it down early. Like you have your own process. It's not dependent on somebody else. Like this is what you do, regardless of if somebody gonna ride with you or not.
Thanks.
And then you have it for you have your process for football and what you're trying to do. You got your process for your life and what you're trying to do. And like Chief was saying, like when you go to ball, it's like I have this process I go through. This is what I do to make sure I'm benefiting the way I want to here. And then once I'm done with this stuff, this process is over with, I focus on me again. I'm back to
Yep.
my process, what I like doing, what I want to do, how I
Yep.
want to enjoy myself. And if you're not, because if you're not mindful of those things, like yeah, Chief's right, you're going those two worlds are going to swallow up and you're not going to be able to see yourself clearly and keep yourself mentally stable because everything's right in front of you rather than separating them.
Exactly.
Man, Chief, I love you, brother,
Love you,
and
man.
I'm glad I'm glad we get all talk on the phone to talk today, brother.
Love, bro. Man, you already know, fam.
Love now.